Hi everyone, I want to show you a neat little trick that you can use to get a lot of extra resists for free with your character in Diablo 2 Resurrected. I use this quite often, especially when I'm playing hardcore. So for example here I'm on Hell with my little 64 shapeshifter druid, and my resists, for example, are not really looking that great. So to give you a bit of an idea, for example, right now this is not fully set up, but I have, almost no resistances at all because of the huge difficulty penalty, which is minus 100% in Hell. And you can see that especially cold res is really bad, but also everything just kind of looks quite bad. Now the game is balanced around having capped resistances, which go up to 75 without any bonuses that increase their maximum, which gives you 75% damage reduction. Each of those points is 1% damage reduction, so obviously this is extremely powerful, especially the closer you get to the 100% value. Now when you go to the potion vendor in any act, for example Akara in Act 1, they have those Antidote and Thawing Potions. And what many people don't know is that those actually give you bonus resistances. They give you 50% cold res for the Thawing and 50% poison res for the Antidote Potion, on top of also removing poison or freeze effects from your character. And they also give you plus 10% extra maximum resistance as well. So you can actually go to 85% reduction instead of 75 when you're capped. So when you use both of those potions, you get 100% resistance for free, and you also take 40% less damage from those two elements, which is absolutely massive. Each of those potions lasts 30 seconds and they stack their duration. So essentially at the start of the game, you can just buy a ton of them and drink them, and it will last you for like half an hour, 1 hour, however much you want to do at a time. This is obviously especially useful in hardcore when you have really bad gear, when you're still progressing. For example, here I'm just starting out on Hell, and you can definitely skip a lot of item affixes and mostly stack fire and lightning res, which is also like the more dangerous elements in general, and just cap your resistances for cold and poison very easily using those potions. You don't necessarily have to do this all the time. For example, when you go into Act 4, there's barely any cold damage coming from any source unless you're fighting cold enchanted elites. But for example, in Act 5, there's a lot of cold damage going on, or Mephisto has some cold attacks, and similar, Andariel has lots of poison damage. Act 2 in general has lots of undead that poison you and these kind of things. So actually going by act and choosing a bit of the right potion to stack is also a more time efficient strategy to do this. So essentially you can just go and buy them. Obviously you don't want to do this with just like right clicking, so you want to do this a bit faster. So one way to do this is to swap back to the old graphics. Here you can do double left click for confirming if yes, and then buy them, and you can just drink them, because in the new graphics the yes accept button doesn't exactly align with your cursor when you do this, so this doesn't work. But you can also press enter, and if you do this in the right rhythm, then you can also buy them quite fast. Unfortunately, there was a trick to just hold down enter and left click those potions, but this has for some reason been patched out just a few days ago. But you can also do it with your potions in your belt. So I just emptied my belt. So what you can do is you can buy one, put it in, shift right click, then it fills up the entire belt in this one row, and then you do this and shift right click again and you have the entire belt. In this case I just do 3 rounds of drinking them, and then I just shift right click again. So drinking 3 rows of 4 potions is 6 minutes of stacked poison resistance, and you can just do this for like 1 or 2 minutes at the start of a game, and you can literally have this effect for hours if you want. So this is extremely neat and will definitely help you to survive, especially early on when you're still progressing and don't really have good loot. Later on, when you're farming certain bosses or certain runs, you don't really want to do this every single time you log in, but especially for like the slow progression, especially on hardcore, I would recommend doing this trick at least for certain areas of the game. You can also do a similar thing with stamina potions. So like the Antidote and the Thawing, they also stack 30 seconds of infinite stamina. So for example, when you start a new character and you have very little vitality, you keep running out of stamina very often, especially when you're twinking and you're just rushing through the game really fast. So you can just do the same here and stack up like an hour of stamina, and by the time those run out, you will probably have enough vitality to sustain your stamina quite easily when you're somewhere in Act 2 or 3. This is also quite useful when you're progressing through zones that have stamina draining enemies, like in Act 2, those flies, worms, and the similar in Act 3, and also those bees that can drain your stamina. So there are some enemies like that, and it's quite useful to just have perma infinite stamina in those cases. And that's already about it for what I wanted to share here, so hope this helps you. I would like that video, and see you guys next time.